I'm Mario Martinez Jr., CEO and founder of Ingresso, and we are the creators of flymessage.io, the free personal writing assistant and text expander application. On each episode of this podcast, you will hear from sales leaders, practitioners, and influencers to help you grow your sales numbers at scale. So, get your pen and paper or iPad and keyboard and start taking notes as you're now listening to the Moderate Selling Podcast. Today, I want to take you through, and we're going to talk a little bit about the digital referral, right? This is going to be for salespeople very specifically. Let's start out with, first off, our sole objective in sales is to make sure that we are starting conversations. That's the sole objective. Prospect, prospect, prospect. Even if you're an account manager, our job is to penetrate. Our job is to be able to land and expand. And so it all comes down to starting conversations. Well, let's take some time to talk about the hardest part of the sales cycle. Now, I'm going to put some options right up here on the board. Would you say the hardest part of the sales cycle is getting the first conversation, qualifying the opportunity, presenting a solution, or closing the deal? Let me give you the answer to this poll that was done 4 times now over the last several years. The answer, 69% of sellers from across the globe, over 1,200 people, actually 1,295 to be exact, said getting the first conversation is the hardest part of the sales cycle. Yet the problem is so many of us are so dissatisfied with the sales results, both individually as an individual contributor, as well as a leadership team. Why are we so dissatisfied? Putting the concept of, hey, getting that first conversation is the hardest part, and this dissatisfaction, what is the problem? Well, the answer to that is the problem is us. Simply put, you and I are the problem. It is not the buyer. It is not the product. It is not anything related to all the excuses that we make out there. The number one issue is us. Why? Well, let's take a look at this. I want to start out by talking about the old way of selling and how I grew up and how all of you are being trained. So if you look at how we are being trained, how I grew up starting 26 years ago in sales when I was 19 years old, working at a software company as a then called telemarketer, now called SDR or BDR. And with that in mind, the old way of selling was we cold called. Then we looked at email blasting. Then we attended a networking event, and we asked for referrals. This, in fact, the old school way was the fact that we used to have that big Rolodex ball, and we used to turn that big Rolodex ball, the A through Z cards, and we would stick all of our business cards inside there. And at some point, it would get so big and so heavy that we'd get the second Rolodex, and we would use that Rolodex to be able to get those referrals. We also were out there attending networking events. We also were just learning how to do email blasting way back then, and now it's a commonplace. And we cold called. But listen to this. I want you to think about something. And of course, we're long past COVID, but COVID created a situation where we were forced to use the phone, use email. We couldn't attend live networking events, but we could ask for a referral. So approximately 25% of our sales process was clobbered as a result of COVID. Now, interestingly enough, come now fast forward where the pandemic is over and the epidemic here in the United States has been deemed as not even an epidemic anymore. Great. What happened to networking events? Well, no doubt they're still there and they're coming back. But no doubt everyone has learned that in order to be able to drive attendance, you must have a virtual component. And upwards of 30 to 50% of attendees are still enjoying attending virtual networking events. So that's still a problem. But then we look at cold calling. And cold calling, actually, we have about a 1% call-through rate, meaning you call 100 people, you get one person. Why? Well, many people are working from home now. That has become the main form of work. And as a result of working from home, we don't have their cell phone numbers. Now, we're sure we use tools like Seamless.ai, Zoom Info, Apollo. We may use these tools, but it doesn't allow us to be able to connect because most buyers are not answering phone calls that they don't see a caller ID for. And then, of course, there's email blasting. And we all know that that has gotten worse and worse and worse, especially over the last few years, in that open rates as well as engagement rates have dropped considerably. So the model has changed to what? We'll talk about that in just one second. The game has changed, but our skills as leaders, leaders of your business, a sales leader maybe has not, and or it must change. Let's talk about the omni-channel approach now, the new way of selling. So right dead center in the middle are the four ways that we just talked about. That doesn't change. You're still going to make a phone call. You're still going to email. You're still going to ask for a referral, and you're still going to network. But introduce now text messaging, introduction of social networks, things like LinkedIn, Twitter, and other channels. We've got sales video. Think about this. How many of you have actually taken the time to create a prospecting video that engages your buyer? And we have now the digital referral. We'll talk about that very specifically in just one moment. The buyer engages you inbound just this morning, right onto our website. Someone was referred to us. Someone also yesterday saw what we posted, and the buyer engaged us. And finally, hey, direct marketing, gift marketing, they are making a strong comeback in terms of direct mail, and gift marketing is the new way to be able to engage our buyers. So think about this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ways, 10 ways to engage a buyer. And our job as a seller is we have to figure out, does Mario prefer social networks? But does John prefer text messaging? But does Mary prefer sales video? And does Susie prefer that she engages you? Or a call or an email or, and you fill in the blank. And so this now has become our challenge as sellers is how do we engage in the right channel, with what tools, and how do we do it in such a way that we can streamline our prospecting approach? So we're going to talk a little bit about one specific avenue, the digital referral, and we're also going to touch base on a tool, Fly Message. Now, the first thing I want to spend some time talking about is really about, in order for you to be able to get referrals, you must build your network. All right. So let's take a look at building our network. What is the goal of a connection request? Well, there are 7 goals. 7 goals of a connection. First off, it's to educate that connection. It's potentially to showcase a cause. Perhaps you stand for a nonprofit of some sort, and you really want people to understand that you support a cause. It's also to build a relationship, and it is to potentially drive a sale if you are a salesperson, and help you be found, build your personal brand to refer or be referred. Now, our objective in terms of forming a connection with someone is to focus it in on one of these 7 categories. If you could focus it in one of these 7 categories and build relationships over the course of time, as well as look at it as an opportunity to be able to refer or be referred and to drive sales, you're thinking the right way. The problem is how you approach your buyer. And I want you to understand, educate, educate, educate. The other concept is be found. As you build up your network, your goal is to be found, meaning the more that you publish, the more that you engage with your buyers, the better off you are. And I'll show you some tools around that as well. So I'll help you with various different tools today that will help you in each of these scenarios. So who should you connect with on LinkedIn? There are several categories. First off, you should connect with your clients and prospects. If you're brand new into a sales organization and you've just been assigned your territory or client deck, you better, the first thing that you better make sure you go out there and you connect with all of the main POCs. Tell them that you are their account manager at such and such company. Thank them for being a customer, and then hit the send connection button. Personalize that connection request. Now, Fly Message can help you with building a template And you can use that template over and over and over again. And you can repeat that message over and over and over again to those particular clients. Now, I said the main POC. In addition to that, you should be looking in your CRM and you should be connecting with all of them. That is critical. Now, presume that you don't have a list of accounts, and presume that you're walking into a territory that is brand spanking new and you are going out there connecting for the first time. Well, you obviously can't connect to clients, but you should be connecting to prospects. And inside of our training, under the Modern Sales Mastery for Individuals, there's an entire training program on how to connect with prospects. And inside of FlyMessage, a free tool, flymessage.io, you actually have free scripts that you can utilize and get access to just by simply making some referrals to other people to use the free tool. You also should be reaching out and forming connections with all your colleagues. So if you're brand new into a territory, you want to be connecting with everybody on your team, everybody on the surrounding team inside of the organization. You want to be looking at who are the vendors or partners that you guys partner with inside of your company and or territory, and connect with those individuals as well. So this is very important. You want to build this connected environment because you're only one connection away from being able to get a referral and start a conversation. All right. Now you should be looking at the alumni. So with an alumni, you want to be looking at people that you worked at in the past. Go out and connect with all those folks, making sure that you connect with those that were in your college and connect with those individuals. Find them, connect them, build a connected environment. If someone refers someone to you, first thing you should do, connect. And of course, you've got your friends and your family you should be connected with, and those that you network with both online and offline. So assume that you're attending an event. You should be using that as an opportunity to say, "Hey, John, I saw you and your question that you asked on the such and such event. I want to be able to connect with you. Loved your question. Let's connect." Or, "I'm here at the show. Really appreciated meeting you in the hallway at such and such event. Let's go ahead and connect." So build this connected environment. Why do we want to build a connected environment? Well, that connected environment is going to help us to be able to build the referral. And when is the right time to connect? The right time to connect is right now. This is what we should be focused on to build a connected environment so that we can use this as our digital Rolodex. Because guess what? Most of you do not have a big giant index ball that you turn and rotate as a Rolodex to be able to store your business cards. Most of us are using our LinkedIn platform as a digital Rolodex. So when that happens, we now have the opportunity to be able to go after the digital sales referral. All right. As you build this network up, you're going to be one person removed away from connecting to your target audience. That's very important. So, step one, build your connections. New or long-term account executive or account manager, farmer or hunter, doesn't matter. Client account manager, client executive, national account manager, or SMB account executive, it doesn't matter. Build the connections because it gets you now to the digital sales referral, of which we all know that warm referrals are the money. You have a 60+% chance of booking a meeting by someone referring you. Now, I want you to think about this just for a second. Buyers are 5 times more likely to engage with you via a warm referral. So, as an example, if your landscaper came to you and said, "Hey, do you think you could introduce me to your neighbor? Because I see that they need help." When they have asked me that question, I have marched right over, knocked on the door, and said, "Hey, Mary, hey, John, hey, Billy, whoever it is, I want to introduce you to my gardener. I want to introduce you to my contractor." And they have noticed that there's a couple things that they think they can help you out with. "Oh my God, thank you so much for introducing." Step out of the way, you formulate an opportunity and a sale for them. And why are we willing to do that? Because we value the work that that person has done and we believe that they've helped us. So when asking for that introduction, one of the things that happens is that the person who is referring has trust, credibility that has been built up with the person that you're being asked to be introduced to. And so buyers are 5 times more likely to engage with you via a warm referral. So what are some best practices? First, we're going to build rapport to ease into a favor. Second, we're going to state intent with care. We're going to pre-write the message for them when they say yes, they're willing to do it, and we're going to give them the courtesy out. Okay, so now you know how to do referral. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay. So I'm going to actually show you what this process looks like. There are two steps to the digital referral. And if anybody tells you differently, don't listen. This is tried, true, and tested with tens of thousands of reps across the globe. And this process works. So let's take a look here. This is an actual message from one of our clients who sent me a message to ask to be introduced to somebody. Now let's read this message. Hi, Mario. I hope everything's been going well since you last were here at Levi's. Quick question for you. I've been trying to get in touch with someone at company name recently and noticed that you're connected with Susie, the VP of Strategic Partners and Business Development. I was wondering if you know him well enough, if you'd be willing to introduce the two of us. If you are, I'd be more than happy to provide an intro message that you can use. I appreciate any insights you have on so-and-so, Billy, or the company. Now, this is the perfect first step process. More importantly, this message goes out to every person that they know that is connected to, in this case, Billy. Come back to that in just a moment. Why is this the perfect first step? Well, first, it establishes a personal connection in the first sentence. I actually was training the San Francisco 49ers. I hadn't been there for 10 months. So this individual, out of the many sales reps that were there in our live workshops and training, reached out and said, hey, I hope you remember me. It's great to talk to you since you were here last time at Levi's. So they're establishing that personal connection with me. How do you know me? Why do you know me? Right? Next, they gently ask whether or not I know a person well enough to establish an introduction. What does that allow me to do as the possible referrer? It allows me to possibly say, no, I don't know that person well enough. And I'm not offended. I don't feel uncomfortable by saying no. Third thing, she establishes that she would create a separate introduction. A separate introduction. She does all the work by telling me she's going to do all the work. That is important. The reason why referrers get cold on you or don't want to commit or don't answer or don't engage is because they don't know what they are going to say. They don't have the time to think about it. So you must establish that you are going to do all the work. Next, she shows appreciation for my time and she thanks me. And number 5, it is a one-touch, repeat, one-touch scroll on a mobile device. Okay, now this message is sent out to everybody that I'm connected with on LinkedIn that is connected to this particular POC. Why do I send it out to everybody? Meaning, if I have 5 people, I'm sending it out to 5 people. What I'm looking for in this first step is who of the potential referrers have the best relationship. What this sales rep did not know, Katie, in this case, what Katie did not know was, hey, does Mario actually know this person super well? Meaning maybe Billy and I are soccer dads for our kids' soccer team. Maybe we are brothers on the background. Maybe we are friends at an event. Maybe we serve on the same board together. These are all the things that you do not know that is happening. And what I want to tell you is that if you're using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, generally the shared connections are listed in the order by which LinkedIn believes are the most powerful connections for you to start with first. So that's based upon the algorithm, engagement, is there conversation going on in the background, etc. So if you're looking at shared connections, consider starting with the first shared connection as the potential strongest connection. Now, you obviously have to do some due diligence because you're looking at it and saying, who do I know best and who do I feel most comfortable with? But if you're send this message to everyone, 5, 10, 15, 20 people. You're looking for who's got the strongest connection. And for all those that say no skin off your back. And for all those that say, I don't have a strong connection, but I'm willing to help. If someone says, I've got a great relationship, you tell all those that were willing, thank you so much. I was able to find somebody who's got a very strong connection. I'll catch you on the rebound, right? Okay. So once you find that person now your objective is to go into the second step, and that is the two-step follow-up message. So here's the follow-up message. Katie sends to me, thanks again for the shout out, because I was so happy that she sent me that first message using our templates, that I did a LinkedIn post, and it went viral and she got a lot of visibility. So she's saying, thanks again for the shout out on LinkedIn and offering to connect me with, in this case, Tracy. Below is a message for you to copy and paste. Copy and paste. Notice it says copy and paste. Please feel free to make any edits. You can either copy me on LinkedIn intro, meaning add me to the message, or with my email. And she puts her email in. Here's the message. Hi, Tracy. I hope things are going well for you. Now, this is writing as if she is me. She wrote this for me. Hi, Tracy. I hope things are going well for you. I'd like to introduce you to a Katie Abrams, who I've had the pleasure of working with through my training sessions with the San Francisco 49ers. It appears that they have some partnership opportunities available for 2017 season that you and OpenText may find beneficial. I've copied Katie on this message, and she would like to set a brief meeting with you for 30 minutes. After experiencing some of the recent events at Levi Stadium myself, I'd encourage you to carve out some time. I'll let the two of you take it from here. Thanks so much. And then she closes with, thanks again, Mario. All right. Why is this the perfect follow-up message? Here's why. It's very clear instructions. You can either copy me or tag me on LinkedIn on the message. Second reason. Oh my gosh. You would not believe how many people send me a request to be able to introduce them, and they don't tell me their email address. Look. Likely, your LinkedIn account is connected to the primary email as a personal @Gmail, at whatever it might be, not your corporate address. Because let's face it, most of you are not going to be at your company forever. With that in mind, you're using a personal address. So do you want me as the referrer to go and, one, find your email? And good luck in figuring out where it's at, because most people don't even know they have to click the contact info on someone's profile, and that's where their email is at. But I presume I do know that. Then I grab your email, which is your @Gmail address. Is that the one that I'm supposed to be sending a message to? So no, not at all. So make sure you include that email. It is so important in this second step process. The third reason why this is the perfect follow-up message. She provided the actual messaging, making it easy for me to form the connection. You see that paragraph right here in front of you. She wrote it as if it was me, and I have the ability to easily edit that message. She also identified that her goal was to get a 30-minute meeting. So I'm helping her establish the goal so that it's not a surprise when the referral looks at this and says, oh, how much time do they want? Like, do I really want to spend the time on this? 30 minutes. Next, she established the personal connection that I have to her, that I experienced events at Levi Stadium myself, and that I would want them to potentially have a conversation about it as well. And number 6, she allows me to step out of brokering the introduction. I'll let the two of you take it from here. Thanks so much. That is the perfect two-step referral follow-up message process. Step 1, step 2. Step 1, ask everyone that you know that's connected, do they know them well enough? And step 2 is to, now, once you found that person, to actually go in and to form the message for them, and then wait for the results. Hey, don't turn that dial just quite yet. Make sure you listen to this very important message right now. Thanks for listening to the Modern Selling Podcast. Please do me a huge favor and give the Modern Selling Podcast a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Oh, and don't forget, if you'd like to save 20 hours or more in a month and increase your productivity, go right now and download Fly Message, that's flymsg.io, for free. It's your free text expander and personal writing assistant. Hey, thanks for listening in, and until the next episode, good selling.